Hello and welcome to The Secrets of Stargate, where we talk about hidden meanings and deeper layers found in the Stargate movies and series, including SG-1, Atlantis, Universe, and more. I'm Father Cory Sticha. With me today are Lisa Jones and Victor Lambs. Howdy, Lisa.
Hey, Father Cory.
And howdy, Victor.
Howdy do, Father Cory.
And before we begin, we'd like to invite you to join our Discord server. We're having a lot of fun discussing all our shows. You can get your invite at sqpn.com/discord. You can also get some merch to go along with your favorite StarQuest shows, such as The Secrets of Stargate. Go to sqpn.merch for that. But today we're discussing the Serpent's Venom, the 14th episode from the 4th season of Stargate SG-1. The SGC receives a message from the Tok'ra that the Goa'uld, Apophis, and Harrower are plotting to join forces against the other system lords. Fortunately, Jacob Carter/Selmac is still on Earth after rescuing Jack and Teal'c, and comes up with a plan to use the minefield where Apophis and Harrower are meeting against them. Meanwhile, as 3/4 of SG-1 join Jacob to reprogram a space mine, Teal'c is captured during his recruiting trip back on Chulak. Teal'c is taken to Harrower's ship to be tortured, but before being turned over to Apophis as a gift to seal the alliance between the two Goa'uld. Teal'c refuses to renounce his rebellion against the Goa'uld, and convinces Raknor, the Jaffa that convinced him, that the Goa'uld are false gods. Sam and Daniel are able to program one of the mines and release it so that it can hit Apophis' ship. Apophis reveals his entire fleet that was under cloak and attacks Harrower. However, Teal'c and Raknor escape just in time to meet up with Jacob and the rest of SG-1. There's a lot of apostrophes in this one. A lot of these and apostrophes.
Very apostrophe heavy episode.
Yes. So what do you think of this one, Lisa?
Okay, so we haven't seen the Goa'uld a lot this season. And this episode, we get not one, not two, we get three. So They just kind of reminded me of an earlier season episode. But I like it. Of course, I love Jacob. So I like it. Teal'c, after not having anything to do for the last couple of episodes.
Yeah, like for the whole season, basically.
Yeah, we got to see a lot of him. Christopher Judge was excellent and developed his character more. And then lots and lots of team interaction, the rest of the team interaction. So I like that. So I like it. I didn't remember it really, but I liked it.
Yeah. How about you, Victor?
Yeah, there's a good episode in here someplace, but it feels like they just like Frankensteined a bunch of different episodes together. You know, we have the whole thing with the mines, and that's kind of cool, but as a whole episode, that wouldn't have worked. And so they kind of bring in this whole, like, Teal'c gets tortured for 45 minutes. Oops. Like, plot. And that's all it is. I think they were going for some sort of, like, Grand Inquisitor thing with the Technor or Turok or whatever the German Goa'uld's name is, but it just doesn't fit with the rest of the episode. Like you said, there's a lot of apostrophes, like, I'm Hacknor of the Kordai Plains. I'm Lothar of the Hill People. And and then Teal'c gets captured, chained up, and like hit with like the pain sticks, hit with the ribbon device, and all of it I think was to convince Raknor that the Goa'uld are false gods. But Raknor, I think, kind of already knew that. Maybe just needed a little push over the edge. But yeah, there's a lot of like good stuff going on here, but it just felt like they just like I said, Frankenstein like 3 episodes together to make one episode.
Yeah,
not one of Peter DeLuise's strongest ones, that's for sure.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I liked it a lot. I thought it was a pretty good one. Yeah, it did feel though like, oh, by the way, the Goa'uld are still out there.
Mm-hmm.
You got to remember the Goa'uld are there, and they're still the bad guys. They really are, and and we're going to show you why they are. I did laugh the idea of they're meeting in a minefield that is triggered by certain frequencies, so you have to make sure you don't broadcast one of those frequencies. As you're meeting in the middle of this minefield or right next to this minefield. And so it was, I did like I said, I did like it, but it wasn't the strongest. But of course we do open with Teal'c on his recruiting mission. He's out there to recruit, Jaffa to fight against the Goa'uld, to overthrow the false gods. And that doesn't work so well for him. He
no,
doesn't quite do enough background check on his potential clients.
As he gives away all of the plans and who's with him and where they're
much.
meeting.
Yeah.
Oops. But I loved when he takes the cowl down, the hood off of his head, and, because you don't know who it is. And that was a great moment. And then we know, okay, this is going to be a Teal'c episode.
Yep, exactly.
And apart from Turok or Terok or whatever the guy's name is, like the two Goa'uld in this episode, we keep talking about how Harrower and Apophis are back. They don't interact with any of SG-1. Like they only interact with each other over a video screen, pretty much. And so it feels kind of cheated there. But and then so we do see Teal'c, and within minutes he's like knocked unconscious. Our hero, brought to a mothership and is terrorized by Terok, a German Goa'uld who I think is supposed to, like, it becomes more clear as the episode goes on that he's supposed to be like an inquisitor and like an Inquisition court, like, repent now and save your soul type thing. And that just completely falls flat because we really haven't up until this point had any insight into the Jaffa afterlife. Like, do Jaffa believe in an afterlife, and do they believe that by serving the Goa'uld, like, they gain access to a paradise? We know that they serve the Goa'uld, but that's largely just been because the Goa'uld oppress them into believing that they're gods. We really don't know much about their eschatology there or anything.
We do a little bit, but like you said, it's not much. I think there had been lines about, if you are faithful to the Goa'uld, we will have, be rewarded in the next life type of thing. But, again, it's very, very generic, very, is there a heaven? Is there a hell in the Goa'uld mindset? What does that look like? Is the Goa'uld afterlife, like Stovokor, where they're fighting for eternity, or, what is it like,
I thought it was a great introduction because, like you said, we haven't really, we keep broadening the Jaffa world, the what it means and who they are as a people and what they're fighting for, even though some of them don't know they're fighting for it. And I thought it tied in nicely to the theme of the episode, and they brought it in so that, this is the way that you're going to convert. You're showing the conversion of Ragnar. That was kind of the purpose, because he's such a leader on Chulak that he's got all this following. So for us to witness the betrayal and then his conversion, and it's done through Teal'c's martyrdom, through his witness of kind of the opposite. Faith in there are false gods,
right?
Not faith in them as gods, but faith as false gods. But it was just, I don't know. It was so, I loved the way they brought that in, because we know in reality that witnessing our faith and stuff like that is what, living it and professing it and following it is what helps people come to believe in the faith. So I thought it was a nice way that they brought that. They probably didn't mean to bring in Christianity in that way, but that's how I took it.
Yeah, no, that's a really good insight. And Ragnar himself is kind of a, if you will, a revert to the church, quote unquote, of Teal'c, to use kind of that term, but to the message of Teal'c, because his dad Delnor, his father Delnor, was a follower of Teal'c in Braytak, and then was captured and was killed for that.
In that case, Terok or Turok or whatever folded way too easily. Like, he hit him with the paint stick twice, hit him with the ribbon device twice, and then it's like, I'm so frustrated, I'm going to knock over the camera and stuff. If they wanted to sell that aspect, they needed to take, and granted, this is Stargate, not a different show. They needed to take things a lot further than they did. We needed to see a moment where Teal'c, would have been tempted into giving up or something. I think would have sold it a little bit more. But yeah, like, as in terms of like a Inquisitor, like, or someone who could have like broken Teal'c, like Terok, like, folded way too easily. He wasn't really a serious, credible threat at all.
To be fair, while we didn't see much on screen, by the bruising and everything that Teal'c had, there was much more done than what we saw. I mean, let's be fair, at least as far as that's concerned. But I did kind of question, okay, so they hit Teal'c in the pouch where the larval Goa'uld is. So literally he's torturing both Teal'c and the other Goa'uld, the larval Goa'uld, at the same time. That doesn't seem like a good idea.
Maybe that's the larva Goa'uld survived, we assume. So maybe that it's a combined way that the symbiote causes more pain. It's getting, it's in pain, so therefore it causes Teal'c extra pain. So maybe it's just an extra way of hurting him.
Probably the case. I mean, it was basically a supercharged taser that like caused your eyes and mouth to glow.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's pretty impressive, but
it's
still just kind of seemed to me like, okay, that's even a little brutal for the Goa'uld to say, we're going to kill our young, or put our young larva at risk or something like that.
I mean, they kill each other all the time.
That's true. But
yeah.
They don't seem to really care that much.
Bigger
true.
picture
That's
here.
true.
They're bigger fish to fry in this, so to speak.
That's true. That's true.
And the Goa'uld are
but
not.
you think they'd care more about at least their own over the Jaffa, but
they're just not very inventive when it comes to torture. They have the ribbon device, they have the pain stick, and that's literally it. Like, if I were to torture Jaffa, what I would do is I'd come up with like progressively more and more painful viruses, and then inject them with them. Let the symbiote heal him after they're like, oh, because we've already seen Teal'c like have a bad virus, right? And so then say, well, that was just like COVID. Here's like, like malaria or something, or cholera. Yeah. And then just like, oh no, that was even worse. But now I'm okay. And then just like,
now we've got Ebola.
Yeah. Now we've got Ebola. So now we've got dengue fever or whatever. So yeah, I mean, the Goa'uld are just not very creative. I mean, maybe
I don't know. You did a good job splashing water on him. You always got to have the water, throw the water in his face, just insult him.
Well, they did mention the sarcophagus. So the idea, I think, was you torture, kill him, bring him back to life, torture, which we see later with, can't think of his name, with Jack.
With Jack, when they keep,
Later, that happens. So that was.
And it seems like Harrower, like if Harrower, we don't know who has Teal'c at first, right? So it turns out it's Harrower. It turns out, like, I would think that like Harrower would say, oh yeah, Teal'c, tell everybody that Apophis is a false god, right? And then I don't know if Harrower was like thinking and inventive enough, he could say, oh yeah, tell everybody Apophis is a false god, and then I'll come in as like, the savior of the Jaffa and get all the Jaffa on my side or something. That's what I would do. Yeah, but
if they do that, then if they believe any of the Goa'uld are false gods, then it undermines all of the beliefs. Because if one could be false, then how do we know these others aren't false gods? There could be more of them. So it undermines
the question
their
of the Goa'uld
enslavement.
isn't, are they false gods or not? The question is, which is the better god?
Yeah.
Which is the stronger god?
Which
is
one's
the god
which one's going to cause me more pain and suffering in life?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and the other thing we don't know after this is like Turok says that I tortured Braytek to death and he died. And we don't really know, like, I think coming out of this episode, whether or not that's true or not.
Yeah,
we don't know if he's lying, and we see it later, obviously, that yes, he's still very much alive, and maybe not well, but at least he's alive,
But we never get a scene with like Teal'c telling Jack, it's like, I have bad news, Braytek is dead or something. So it's like, it kind of just like dropped that out there in the middle of the episode, and you're like, oh, I guess Braytek is dead now or something, or maybe not, and then they just never come back to it.
Yeah.
But what an effective way to torture Teal'c, though.
Yeah. Well, I think Teal'c pretty much assumed like you're full of stuff, you're a liar, and of course you're a false god. You're not going to actually tell the truth that you probably had nothing to do with Braytek at all. But hey,
don't even know where he is.
Tell me a story, good story, dude. Yeah.
Cool story, bro. Yeah, so there's a lot of borrowing from Deep Space Nine in this episode. First, we have like the minefield, which granted the mines aren't self-replicating, but they do move around, and that's kind of a big story point. And then to combat this, because Jacob has to, in the cargo ship that they beam the mine up into, they beam the mine up into to to work on it, he has to match the speed and trajectory of the mine. Otherwise, the mine will crash into the side of the cargo ship and blow them all up. And so in order to pilot more effectively, he puts on the Jem'Hadar, the Dominion, a navigation eyepiece, which is, granted, it's a sci-fi staple, but it looks exactly like the eyepiece that the Jem'Hadar used to steer their ships.
It's a little chunkier, but it's pretty basic idea. Of course, the idea is once the mine is in the ship, wouldn't it be, like no movement relative to the ship? Naturally, or would it be moving around in the ship? I mean,
I think they tried to explain that. It's kind of like when you put the can of like when you put the can of peas in the back of your station wagon or whatever, right? And it doesn't like stay put, and then you drive away, and the can of peas slams up against the. I don't know. They try to explain how like they have to match the like they have very sensitive inertial sensors or something.
Yeah.
It made it more fun.
Yeah. I mean, I get the idea of having to move like the mine would have because they wanted to appear to be the mine, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I mean, that does make a little more sense where actually it's not that they're moving with the mine, it's they're keeping themselves relative to, or the mine relative to the ship, basically. Where it's not floating at one part of the ship or another, or
they did say that they had to match the exact speed and direction of the mine, or the mine would hit the wall of the ship and explode. And we do see that in the one tense moment of this episode. I mean, the whole mine like diffusing thing is just so the combination.
I liked it.
So the combination is, okay, so if you're developing a mine and you don't want people to diffuse it, is your combination going to be turn it 2 in this direction and 3 in this direction?
Well, it depends on if they wanted it to be complicated or not. Maybe it didn't need to be complicated for them.
You're reprogramming a mine that's floating in outer space. You want it to be as simple as possible.
Yeah.
And the reason, so Daniel very quickly, because he knows Phoenician, determines that the code is 3 to the blue, 4 to the orange, 3 to the blue, which is the dumbest combination.
And actually, it's not that, but it's 232 because it's actually 0, 0, and 1, and so on.
Because they start counting from 0, 0 is their 1, which is not true in any culture that has 0. 0 is like its own separate thing. It's not a number, that you start counting from. This episode was just like, the writing is so bad. I mean, but there was one good thing, and that's Daniel has all these books that he has to bring with him. He has to bring like 30 books because not one book has like Phoenician alphabet in it. And Jack rightly says, like, can't you just bring a laptop? And Daniel says, well, I couldn't find Beck's ancient Phoenician symbols on CD at archaeology.com.
Yeah.
Is that not a sign of the times? Right.
Well, that's good though.
I mean, I think in 2000 we were kind of beyond like Microsoft and Carta. We were trying to just like going to the internet, but I guess you can't take the internet
access,
with you. Yeah, that's true.
Offline access, especially when you're like in another, star system.
Just download it up, Project Gutenberg. It's free.
Assuming it's available.
Yeah.
You got to remember, 2000 wasn't quite as advanced as the internet as people like to think it was. It
was still pretty basic.
Web 2.0 was only really getting going at that point. So I was actually just looking. I think it was about the year 2000 that airlines started offering online check-in.
Wow.
And it was only like one or two of them. So the internet wasn't that advanced in 2000 yet. It was getting there. It was the first steps were being made. So the idea that he could just download online these books, no, that fits with the time. Yeah, nowadays it'd be like, okay, are you just a Luddite?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I like how Jack has to like reach up and push his glasses back on his nose because they're falling off. He's too busy worried about the books.
I figured that was the whole, you were a total nerd. Like,
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, there was I thought some good interaction, good quippy, fun interaction between all of them. I mean, starting with Jacob even being on the planet.
Yep.
On vacation. I loved that.
Well,
But
You know,
he didn't
Jacob's
go,
saying
he
we
didn't go
need to go
fishing
do
with
this.
Jack, though.
No, as far as we know, maybe he did.
Yeah.
Maybe he did. He's been there for a couple weeks, right?
Yeah.
But you know, they I love that scene where Jacob said, okay, well, we're gonna take my ship and do XYZ. It's like, no, I want every detail. I want all the mission parameters. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna give that to you, Jack,
Yeah.
for the first time ever. You know,
Right.
I can tell you everything we're gonna do.
Yeah. Jack's like, Tok'ra or Tok'ra. I don't care who you are.
Yeah. And of course, you would think Jacob would be the one that would say, of course, I'm going to make sure you know everything, because he's the one who actually was, you know, in the U.S. military and knows how to plan things like missions and how to let his underlings know what they need to do.
Yeah.
You know, again, Tok'ra or no Tok'ra.
Well, he's still kind of his Tok'ra now.
Yeah.
Of course, then he says, I need, we're going to have some language translations, so I need Daniel. And we're going to have some math stuff, so I need Sam. And then...
And yeah, Jack's kind of like, what about me?
Yeah.
And he called him Colonel O'Neill, which I thought was funny.
Yes.
Colonel O'Neill is always fun to have around.
Yeah.
But of course, he gets his opportunity to fly the ship. So
Yeah, with no instructions. Did you know? Has he flown a cargo ship before now?
no, he hasn't.
And it's
And
that
certainly
ball
not with a
thing.
heads-up display, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, and we see it that like the first time when he first sets down, I mean, immediately he just
I thought that was nice, and then he has to give Carter Jacob his appreciation for. Oh, it's not as easy as it looks.
yeah.
yeah. So he's seen it enough, and since you know he supposedly knows how to fly other things, I guess. So
True.
And I don't know, we don't hear from Selmac directly in this episode, I don't think, but we get
couple of times.
Yeah,
Once
and we
or
get
twice,
and we get the whole like deactivate it, and they're like, you know, Jacob's this way, like I don't know how, and then you know, we tried, and what does Selmac say? And Selmac says try again, you know, and so
yeah.
I like that. That to me fit in Jacob's character, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Quit on to go above me. Just do it.
yeah.
But like seriously, the original Myst had better puzzles than this episode. I mean,
Let's see you do that puzzle in outer space in a cloak ship with mines all around you and
I
this
don't
mine
know.
ready to
It
blow
was-
up in front of
Yeah.
you. Let's see how you do.
it was like the
But
I
it
think
wasn't about.
contrived,
It was
like-
about them working together.
Yeah, I guess so.
We hadn't
And
seen.
figuring it out.
it's like what's
Sam
the
and
combination? Oh, it's
Daniel.
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, but they start counting from 0, so really it's 0, 1, 2, 3.
Well, have we done the whole
I don't
base
know.
8, base 10 math, whatever with the... Yeah, we did. That was early. The Thor episode where they had to draw in the things and
They had to
you know.
pour the water on it and stuff
Yeah,
or whatever.
I mean,
yeah.
so...
But it was a different base system, yeah. For
right.
now.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, so I mean, it's... Yeah, you know, what the code is. But I like watching
don't know.
Sam and Daniel. It's been a while. The way they like to argue and
yeah.
bicker and but still get
I
it
mean,
done.
I like
and then
the-
Jack's
I like
putting
the-
his head under there like, what are y'all doing?
Yeah. I did like the effects with the mine itself. You know, both the parts where it was clearly, you know, an insert of some sort or, you know, a overlay, and then whatever, you know, the little half mine or whatever they used for when they were actually underneath there. I mean, because they could raise and lower it, and you know, and they did really, and move it, of course, where Jack's like, now can you make it so I'm not going to go boom here in a second?
Yeah.
Because he's trapped in the corner.
And I did like
think-
the
I did
mine.
think it was-
Yeah.
I did think it was funny too. The mine looked like the TIE Advanced fighter from Star
Yeah.
Wars.
Yes.
Identical, almost identical, just different color.
And I like the interface underneath when they were turning it, and like you could see that like it lit up like 2 blue, and then like the lights turned to orange as they turned back the other way. So they put some thought into that,
Yeah.
at least.
What was it? Is green good?
Yeah. No,
No, bad.
Yeah, green means bad.
How bad? Very, very bad.
Somehow you could figure out they
Yeah.
had 5 minutes, but then again, if Daniel was wrong on the number of turns, was he also wrong on how many minutes they had left? Was
Probably.
it actually 4?
Right.
Yeah, I do like when they were like trying
5
to
is
like,
right
okay,
out.
are we good to go? And he's like, no, wait.
Yeah.
Okay, we're good to go. It's just
Yeah.
like,
Carter's like, "Ugh."
Just about to press it, yeah. Of course, you know, that's pretty obvious that's where you press it. I mean, it is literally a plus sign with a circle right in the middle where 4 panels come together. I mean, that is pretty obvious.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but they already said if you touch it, it blows up. So it's like,
Yeah.
Do you want to be that person?
And then, of course, there's Daniel where he's got the sheaf of paper and he's reaching up and also go, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After a couple episodes ago where he's showing off his muscular build and, all that was up beneath the surface. And then now he's back to being nerd Daniel.
Yeah.
Nice lady, don't touch the mine there. Oh, no, Huyven.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got a nice callback to the first ones, though, where Teal'c mentions to Ragnar
stood by the
and
swamps.
Turok. Yeah. And they came out of a swamp. And it's like, oh, okay, well, that changes my mind about everything.
Yeah.
They were bringing it together.
Yes, they were. I did appreciate that.
And of course, Sam did get a good line as they're flying to the minefield, and she's reading, and Jack's like, "Do you understand this? It's all Phoenician to me."
That's right.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah.
So what'd y'all think of Apophis' harem?
Yeah, but
of course.
he got to be over the top again. Oh, and his faceplate changed. Last time we saw him, so he must have had some plastic surgery.
Was it like it was more of a complete?
Yeah,
like
Phantom of the Opera thing.
Yeah, and now it's just like kind of a little like 7 and 9 thing.
Now it's more fashionable.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's sitting pretty. He's got the big embroidered or a big garb and everything, the big collar and everything, and he's showing who's boss.
Yeah.
He didn't have the fan,
Being killed a couple of times didn't cramp his style.
No, he's got better style now.
And apparently he can. So he has Sokar's fleet now because he took out Sokar, and apparently he has motherships that can cloak.
Yeah, that was new,
which is unknown. No Goa'uld had ever thought of that before, and so I think at this point, do we assume that Harrower is dead because Apophis says, even though I know the mines are going to attack my ship, I'm going to blow up Harrower. And then I'm going to have all my little underlings decloak and absorb all the mines while I fly away. So
I don't remember if Harrower's dead or.
Well, he didn't really stand out as a character. He was just kind of like the dirtbag.
Because the only ship that we see escape from it is the ship that Teal'c was on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which they assume is Harrower until they're like, oh no, that must be Teal'c. And he's like, aha, we can rendezvous at the third moon of Tishnar.
Which is named for?
Brad Tishnar?
Yeah.
No, is it really? No, who is it?
No, it really is.
Who's Brad Tishnar?
I thought he said technical advisor or something on the show.
Oh, okay. Oh, maybe, yeah.
Like all the, what's it called? Like special effects and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe. Bob Tishnar?
I can't remember his name.
Frank
okay, now I have to look it
Tishnar?
up.
Yeah.
Harrower is dead. He does not return. So like I said, Teal'c and Ragnar is the only survivors of that ship. Oh, and the miner Goa'uld, the torture guy that got beamed over. Even though I don't know if he actually survived or if he was dead too.
Oh, I don't think we see him again. But yeah, Ragnar may have killed him. We're not sure. And they did try to do the intercept the matter stream thing again, which I'm glad that didn't work because that would have been bad if they had tried the same thing twice. And
you gotta have something new.
Yeah. But it was still cool to see the matter stream, which has to be in place for a good 10 seconds before you can beam anybody across, apparently.
James,
I did like that where they
Tishnar.
show him flying up along it,
Yeah.
It was James.
Oh, okay. So that's
Sorry.
Okay. So that is actually so I wonder how many of these other Cordai planes and
He's a visual effects supervisor for SG-1 and Atlantis.
Okay.
And he wrote a couple
cool.
episodes. Yeah.
Well, Lower Decks is taking off of that because in the most recent episode as we're recording this, there was the Tadasciari planet Tadasciari, and that's named for Fred Tadasciari, who voices one of the characters.
Yeah, legendary voice actor who usually voices creatures or yeah.
And then there was Shatnari, the planet Shatnari. Okay. for that actor William Shatnari. I mean Shatner. No. They had some fun with this in the most recent episode. So if you saw that episode, you know what I'm talking about. But so it's not unknown for things to get named for members of crew. And I suppose it's a simple way that they could kind of, give an attaboy to
Yeah.
to a member of the crew that's doing well, because they can't be on screen because of rules. So they can at least get named for things or, get things named for them or something like that, or slip their name in somehow.
And I didn't see Peter DeLuise in this one, but he wasn't the director. He was the writer.
No, he just wrote it. Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't know if there was I thought that was interesting that he wrote this one and Martin Wood directed.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, maybe he just wanted to build his writing credits or something.
Yeah. But I did read Malazi, did I say that right?
Yes, he did.
Yeah. It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
That interview of him about this, they asked him about this episode, and he said he didn't really remember it. So
I didn't remember it either.
It didn't stand out. I really didn't either until it got going, and then I remembered the mine.
Yeah.
The red, to the red, to the blue, to the whatever. I remember that. I just, when I first looked at the description and turned it on, I was like,
I remembered there's a great line that Teal utters halfway through this, and let's see if I can quote it properly, because this stuck in my mind. It's the line that stuck out for me most.
That's great.
Yeah. One thing I will say with the mine, how many of us in high school could never get our combinations right the first time?
That's true.
It's like a locker.
Yeah, your little locker combination, and you know it. 3 to this and 2 to this and 1 to this, and I still didn't get it right. Do it again.
Yeah. Only it didn't blow up on you or threaten to.
Yeah. Well,
that's why you're like
felt
so lucky when you had like the ones with the numerical combination or the letters that you could set to like your initials or something, which isn't ever a very good combination. So. But
no.
No.
So we do see Rocknor again. He does come back as one of the leaders of the resistance. So it's not his only appearance.
No, and I think it makes his further episodes a little more powerful to have his backstory explained now. So and it was good to have a little more. I'm not always a fan of Chulak, Jaffa centered episodes.
their culture is very derivative, and I mean it's kind of like warrior culture, but also this, and let's just like.
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah.
The Jaffa just don't really stand out.
But I liked the way they did this one. I didn't like the torture scenes. I know, Victor, you wanted more torture. I wanted less.
I did not. I wanted more varied torture.
Oh, okay.
Or more like torture with a point and not like, repeated like, when I crush you, your like crushedness will be so sweet.
But that's so Goa'uld.
And then it's like, oh, I couldn't crush you, and now I'm mad, His
arrogance. Yeah. No, I tried not to. I looked away. There's only so many times I want to see, him like screaming in pain with the light shooting out of his eyes and his mouth. I don't like that. It makes me hurt.
Yeah. Our son did note, like our teenage son, like said, oh, so this is the torture episode, right? And then he said, hey, that effect where like the light's coming out, that looks like when on Supernatural an angel gets like stabbed with a Notian blade and like they die, like the light comes out of their mouth and stuff just like that. So, yeah.
I've not seen
So I guess they borrowed that from this show because I think that came after this.
This came first.
Yeah. I mean, I know there's been 15 seasons of Supernatural, something like that, but that was after this. So
yeah, they didn't bring in the angels until season 4, I think. So.
Oh, y'all brought up Deep Space Nine on this one, and Ragnar was on Deep Space Nine.
Oh, was he?
Says he played Drex.
Let's see here.
One of the Ferengi, I want to say.
Oh no, I think as Way of the Warrior, he was a Klingon.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was also on Dawson's Creek, so I've probably seen him on that.
Yeah.
Oh, it could be. He was on quite a bit. I guess looked like that he had an accident a couple of years ago.
Oh dear.
But he's still out. He's still alive. He's still there. But
he's on Voyager too.
Was he? I missed that.
One episode in 2000.
Oh, Protector. Shortly after this. So
yeah.
Or before this, I guess. But yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Well, anything else about this episode? I mean, we know what Victor thinks of it. It's just one of his most favoritist episodes ever.
It's just kind of there. It's like I said. they took a lot of elements and kind of smushed them together, and it doesn't really. I like the bits with the mine that I do like.
Okay, I was sitting down to watch this one, and I thought, I am not going to like this, and I'm going to come in tonight, and Victor's going to love it, and I'm not going to like it. That was my thinking coming into this episode.
It was like 2/3 of Return of the Jedi. So in Return of the Jedi, you have this thing where like they're fighting like on the Death Star. Luke is fighting the Emperor, right? Meanwhile, they're also fighting on the planet, and then they're also fighting in space around the Death Star.
That was a good movie.
Yeah, it was. And so they have like, but now every like sci-fi plot has to like say, okay, we're gonna have like 3 levels of fighting going on, and this only had 2. This had like Teal'c, being tortured, which is like Luke and the Emperor, and then they had like the bit with the mine, which I guess is like the Ewoks.
Ewoks and the speed runner.
And that was it, things. Yeah.
Well, it was kind of nice that they didn't know Teal'c had been captured.
Yeah.
So the episode wasn't around how do we rescue Teal'c? It was something entirely different. And oh my gosh, it's the same. Like we're doing the same mission. We
two,
as they're, what is it? 2 birds, 1 stone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As they're tapped into the Skype call, they hear that Teal'c had been captured. It's like, oh, well, we got to do something about this. Well, we can't. Yeah.
Okay, I
Teal'c
did like
is expendable.
That.
I guess you're right.
Eavesdropping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many people are eavesdropping on your Zoom calls?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Like, how many people are watching this right now?
Yeah.
Probably just my
Hopefully
mom.
Lots on YouTube. Like or subscribe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like your background, by the way.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, this is Apophasis' fleet of cloaked motherships.
Uncloaked.
I had them uncloaked special for this episode.
I got to figure out how to do that. Get rid of my shutters. Yeah.
He's got a green screen and everything. He's doing it like all high tech. The rest of us will have to do
I don't want
setting virtual background.
Can I just print it on paper and like attach it to the wall
there you
behind
go.
me?
You can actually see one of the creases in my sheet. So just nobody look at that.
Yeah.
Don't pay attention
Pay
to the
no
man behind
attention
the
to the
curtain.
crease in the
there.
So, anyways, on that note, on the secrets of green screen technology.
Yeah.
I think Victor's got some foreign language skills he wants to show off.
Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. So there were other.
Oh yes.
There were other. Oh my goodness. Okay. There were
Good
other.
luck.
Yes. There were other names for this, and so in La France they called this La Venom de Serpent, which means the serpent's venom. So that one we get. In Italian we get L'Alianza Savanita, which is the dissolved alliance. I guess that refers to the dissolved alliance between Harrower and Apophis, which lasted like all of 30 seconds of screen time. In Spanish, El veneno de la serpiente, which is the serpent's venom. So we get that too. In Czech, we get Hadizatst, which is the serpent's hatred. So
cool.
I don't know. We kind of get that with Turok in there.
Mm-hmm.
In Hungarian, Akiego Merge, which is the serpent's venom. And then in German, Diverhinderte Allianz, which is the impeded alliance, which is which is something I guess the Germans know a lot about. So
see, we didn't have enough, fingers and holding your hand as you're speaking the Italian. But other than that, we'll work on it.
Yeah.
Good job. I'm glad it's not
Thank
me.
you. Yeah. we'll get better at this as we go along, I'm sure.
So now that we've offended all our non-English speaking fans, we'd like to take a moment to thank our patrons who make it possible for us to create the secrets of Stargate, including Barbara J, Rock K, Pierre M, Carolyn S, and Stephanie L. Their generous donations at sqpn.com/give make it possible for us to continue the secrets of Stargate and all the shows at StarQuest. You can join them by visiting sqpn.com/give. If we haven't completely offended you and you do enjoy the show, please do follow us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or many other podcast apps. And of course, we are at YouTube where you can watch us make fun of people. I mean, give this show at youtube.com/StarQuestMedia. And also, please share the shows. If you don't think we've offended you enough or will offend your friends, please share the show with your friends. and with everyone that you know, so that we can grow our audience and maybe hear back from them about our bad pronunciations. To find the previous episodes of The Secrets of Stargate and to send feedback, please visit sqpn.com/Stargate. Our email address for feedback is stargate@sqpn.com, or follow StarQuest on social media at facebook.com/StarQuestMedia or on Twitter @SQPN. We'll be back next time when we'll be discussing Chain Reaction, the next episode of SG1. Until then, Lisa Jones, thank you for joining me and sharing the secrets of Stargate.
Thanks, Father Cory.
And Victor Lambs, thank you as well.
Thanks, Father Cory. And why do I waste my time? Because it is the truth.
And once again, I'm Father Cory Sticha. Thank you for listening to the Secrets of Stargate on StarQuest.
Anyway, I'm sorry, but that just happens to be how I feel about it. What do you think?